I don't think a lot of parents sometimes see their children as actual whole people. I think they see them as their children. And sometimes we don't always look at children sometimes as if they're a holistic person. But I respect my child. If I honestly want him to have a safe space, I have to be the one to create it, but I also have to lead by example.
Welcome to the Fresh Start Family Show. I'm your host, Wendy Snyder, powerful parenting educator and family life coach. And together we are going on a journey to help you expand your heart, learn new tools, and strengthen your family so you can build the family legacy of your dreams. I'm a mama too turned child and family advocate who went from being extremely stressed out back when my strong-willed little girl was a toddler to now thriving as a parent and having the honor to support thousands of families each year who choose to go from frazzled and impatient to peaceful and empowered. Each week, we will dive in with experts, thought leaders, authors, and advocates with insights to help you thrive in your parenting walk, as well as in your marriage and even in your career and faith walk too. Together, sometimes alone, sometimes with my better half and co-host Terry, we'll explore the triumphs and trials we all face as parents and share practical tools to fill our hearts, minds, and souls with inspiration. Take a deep breath and get ready to be poured into with some fresh start inspiration. Let's do this. Hello, families, and welcome back to a new episode. I'm so happy that you are here. Today, we are talking about how to set clear and firm limits through humor and connection. And our guest today is a sweet and sassy mama by the name of Nicole Jackson, who, when I discovered, I was just delighted to have someone that made me giggle. And I could just feel this mama's heart through meeting her on screen. I think I originally found her, I think she was on the Today Show one morning. And then when I went to check out her Instagram and TikTok, I was just dying of laughter. And I thought this episode might be fun to air right around Valentine's Day because humor has been something that has been monumental in my life and my parenting journey to be able to lighten the load a little bit. And so I do consider it a tool that we can use as parents to relax a little bit and be able to channel our creativity and be able to laugh at things sometimes, laugh with our children, laugh with our spouses. My husband, Terry, who you all well know, he is on many of our episodes here on the Fresh Start Family Show. He's also in all of our role-playing videos within our core foundational program called the Foundations Course. He's incredible, and we have been together 30 years. This is our 30th Valentine's Day. And he is the king of humor. He's so naturally funny. And he has the ability to diffuse a stressful situation with just a funny little joke or way of lightening the mood. And over our, 17 years of parenthood together, it has saved us so many times from having something turn into more drama if it was just me leading the way, because Terry has been in there, whether it was a dinner conversation or the kids start to push back about laundry or getting in the car, or not wanting to go somewhere, or whatever it may be. He's just always been so good at bringing in humor. And so this is something that I want us all to lean into this Valentine's Day. Let's have Nicole just inspire us to laugh a little bit about the highs and the lows of parenting, and to use something that's really going to help us feel connected with our children and our partners, because humor is connecting. And we don't need to be so serious all the time. We deal with a lot of serious topics here at Fresh Start Family, here on the podcast. We talk a lot about trauma. We talk a lot about healing from, toxic religious teachings when we were young. We talk a lot about heavy topics like getting out of punishment cycles and getting out of reactive patterns that have us reacting to our children in ways that we later regret and we realize we hold shame about. This is big stuff. that we talk about here. And so to bring in a little laughter and a little humor, I thought would just be good for all of us. So happy Valentine's Day. And I hope you all know that I love you so much. Thank you for being a loyal listener of the Fresh Start Family Show and for sharing our episodes and for telling your friends and family about what we do here at Fresh Start Family. And I hope that you really enjoy meeting Nicole. Go find her on her social platforms. She will make you giggle. And she's just incredible. She's an example of a mama who strives to improve herself daily. And especially when it comes to mental health and parenting. And I think what she's doing on her account to bring humor into the world, but to also bring in a vulnerability and just a desire to keep growing. I think you can really feel that when you hear her speak. She is an example of a parent who prioritizes her family and her mental health at the same time. And for that reason, I love her. I loved chatting with her. I love this interview. So without further ado, enjoy and thank you in advance for sharing. Please tag me on social media. I'm at Fresh Start Wendy. If you like this episode and or text it to a friend, let them know that it might bring a giggle to them to lighten their load. All right, thanks for listening. Hey there, families, and welcome to a new episode of the Fresh Start Family Show. I am thrilled to be here today with Miss Nicole Jackson. We are going to be talking about setting clear and firm limits through humor and connection. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm honored. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. Well, listeners, I got to tell you a little bit about how I found Nicole, and then I want to make sure listeners go find you over on TikTok and Instagram and all the things to make sure they give you some love. But I found Nicole after I saw her on the Today Show one morning. I was cleaning the kitchen after the kids had gone off to school. And I just love it when I find people that just make me stop. I just stopped and had to watch this 2 minute, 3 minute, whatever, 5 minute clip that you had with the Today Show crew. And you were just making me laugh. And you just had you have this magnetic beauty about you, Nicole, that is
Oh,
so
thank you.
you're welcome. That is so relatable, and you just exude a warmth about you. And so
Mm,
I just thought, you know what? I want to have you on the show to talk about this idea of setting clear and firm limits through humor
hmm
and connection, which you did so beautifully
Absolutely.
through that reel. But will you take a moment just to tell us a little bit about yourself and where you live and how you started creating these videos that now are becoming really, really popular on TikTok and Instagram, obviously, if you're getting invited to the Today Show. But tell us a little bit more about you.
So I am a 43-year-old woman. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a nurse and have been one for almost 20 years. Oh my goodness. Thinking about
Oh, thank you, Nicole. That
literally it'll be
is
20 years next year, and I've been in the nursing field for almost 23. Being in school to be an STNA to introduce myself into the nursing game was on 9/11, the 9/11.
was it
Mm-hmm.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
The 9/11. I remember them shutting the city down and everything. But I just basically am a person that likes to live in realistic simplicity. I think we need to laugh at the realer aspect that isn't so pretty when it comes to
Yeah.
anything in life. I love the fact that I'm just basically speaking how I would any other time and just taking what we would, or some people would consider intrusive thoughts and making them receivable. And that's the whole point about it. When I give you a message, I want you to be receptive to the message. So I try to deliver it in a way that it will come across that way. So I come from a family full of witty people. I'm the dullest of them, believe it or not. They would consider
Really?
me the mean one. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got jokes for days over here. And when we talk, we just sort of say it real, but in a receivable way. And that's all that the video is about. It's about what it's really about, but you just make it fun because we all go through these things and people think they're the only one going through these things. And when in actuality, you're not. It's a bunch of us out here. As you can see, we're all raising the same kid.
Yes, literally. So I have an almost 13, almost 16-year-old at this. How old's your son again?
13.
He's
13.
13. And
Yep.
it's just so funny how this back to school reel, essentially, I don't know when you filmed it, but right now at the time that we're filming this podcast episode, it probably won't come out till later in the year, but it's back to school season and literally everything you talk about is so spot on. So we're going to cover that stuff in just a little bit. But so single mom, right, Nicole?
Single
Yeah.
mom, yep.
Single mom. And so tell me, like, you can see in this spot that you had on the Today Show with your son that you guys have such a deep connection, you and your little boy. Is he only kiddo? Do you have others or is it just him?
He is the only child, but he is not raised in an only child environment. So then we have a multi-generational home. So he has three other cousins that he's been growing up with since he was one, but he's the baby. So
Yeah.
he's the baby. But yeah, he's my only child. Absolutely my only.
And how have you, like, what do you think you've done over the years, or what do you think has created such a strong connection between the two of you? Because, oh my goodness, his response to your reel was just brilliant. And he did his own version of This Ain't That. And
Mm-hmm.
then just what he added about how, what we're not going to do is forget that we love each other. You're an
Right.
awesome mom and I'm an
And
awesome
I'm an awesome
kid.
kid.
Like
Yeah.
a 13-year-old to say that so clearly and profoundly about his mom, like that is just a signal of deep connection and
Yeah.
respect
Yeah.
for his mama. So what do you think got you there? What has caused such deep connection between you and your little boy?
Well, first of all, I like my kid. Let's put that out there. My parenting method is don't raise somebody you wouldn't like to be around. I choose to enjoy motherhood. I want to enjoy it. Um, I believe in autocorrection, like autocorrect or course correction, because kids don't come with manuals. We don't know what we're doing. I just remember that part. Humanity. My
Yeah.
child is a person. I don't think a lot of parents sometimes see their children as actual whole people. I think they see them as their children. And sometimes we don't always look at children sometimes as if they're a holistic person. But I respect my child. If I honestly want him to have a safe space, I have to be the one to create it, but I also have to lead by example. There's so many parts. I had a friend that said, Nicole, you're like the mother who throw the baby out into the wilderness to hide behind a boulder to make sure nothing happened. Fact.
Oh,
Because reality or life, I have to give you a chance to practice applying the lessons to which I've taught. I mean, you wouldn't put
heck yeah.
somebody that's never practiced with the team out in the world or ever practice with a team like you play sports. If you've never practiced with us, why would I put you in during the NBA finals in order to play a game? No, I wouldn't do that. You
Yeah.
have to do that. I think remembering that my child is my number one priority, but if there's a number one, there's a two and three, and I have to remember to keep part of that. I'm set realistic expectations. Again, we live in realistic simplicity. So you shouldn't expect my child to do things that will be on my level. And I also shouldn't expect him to have understanding if I haven't given it. There's a lot of facets about it, but my main thing is it's either the Hunger Games or the Water Boys. Like everything is the devil, or maybe the odds be ever in your favor. We sort of put you out there and hide behind the boulder while we have a time to correct it. I like my son. I like being a mother. It's he's an awesome kid. However, comma, that's because I'm raising him to be. And so I'm
Yes.
gonna take my flowers while I have it.
Heck yeah. Well, it sure sounds like, in my field, no, doing what I do, being a parenting educator and family life coach, I can tell when you talk about course correction and
Hmm.
also like seeing the humanity in your child that and allowing him to fail, like
Or in
giving him
yourself.
opportunities to fail, right? Like
Or in
that
yourself. Yeah,
or
in
yes.
yourself. Let's it's okay.
I love that in
It
yourself. Yes.
starts with the parent. It always starts with us. We're the child's first teacher, we're the child's first influence. It starts with us. When I say bring your humanity back into your parenting, I'm talking about yours as a parent. Sometimes we as parents think
Amen.
we have to be these stoic beings that don't have feelings and emotions or have issues that we need to deal with. I couldn't be the best mother for my child if I'm not the best person for me. So it was a lot of deconstruction. Or I don't live through my child in an unhealthy way, meaning I don't project what I want the child to be. I want to live through you by being there when you get to experience these things, not because this is the course I want you to take. And course correction is how you parent. We don't,
Yeah.
we have to find what's working and what's not, and then adjust it so that you can do the best possible job.
Absolutely. And be ready to teach all day, every day, right? Like
Oh my goodness. And reiterate the same point over and over and over and over and over. Literally, as I'm getting ready for this, Kai threw some beads down the sink. And I'm like,
oh,
so you saw these like these gummy beads for his little thing. And I'm like, did you see this? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, so you just gonna leave it? You weren't gonna try to fix it. You were just gonna look at it. You were gonna cause an issue and not fix the problem. He's like, I didn't even pay attention to it. I said, yeah, see, I know. So there's that safety net I gave you, but you can't throw these things down the sink. It clogged up the sink. And so this is before we're getting on
yeah.
before I'm coming here today. So I said, I hope you understand. The next time you cause this issue, you'll be fixing clear boundaries for you as a parent, clear standards and expectations for the child. Because again, we remember boundaries are about how you move. Boundaries only control you. Expectations and standards and rules is how the other people govern. So as a parent, you absolutely have to have boundaries. Again, throw you out into the wilderness, hide behind the rock, peek, peek. That's me.
So I love this is so I mean, you talk like an educator, but you say you're a nurse, obviously. So
Mhm.
have you done like this type? I mean, because this is very like profound. This is the way it exactly works, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
again,
Um,
like, so how have you like developed? Is this just intuition? Like you just knew it? Like all this discussion around all the things you've said, but like the clear
no,
boundaries and everything.
no,
It's so
I mean, it goes, yes, it's information that I know because it's what I apply to myself. Again, I lead by example. So in my life, I know I need to have healthy boundaries, and that goes for everyone. And I do mean everyone. I don't parent my child based upon how you see me. I parent my child based on child see. The only person that's going to be able to tell you exactly and really truly what is my son because he's the person to whom I'm the mother with. I had that conversation. I remember talking to my mother and telling her about some things, and she's like, that never happened. And she was speaking to me as if I wasn't an exact product of
wow.
her parenting. And I'm like, you're talking to me like I don't know what type of mother you are. I'm your child. But a lot of times we don't see it that way. So when I make certain moves with my kid, and if somebody wants to know the why, I'm a nurse. You always have to tell me why
Yeah.
I'm moving the way I'm moving. What's the purpose? Because I move better when I know why. Because although way may be good, I might think this way is better or something else. This is not speaking from a parenting expert. This is just speaking from what I would live every day. As far as being an educator, I'm a nurse. You always got to educate somebody on something. However, I love knowledge and attaining knowledge, and I love explaining things to people. So that's where that probably comes out.
That's so cool. And you know what I'm realizing? So geriatric nurse, right? Is
Geriatric
so
rehabilitation. Mhm.
okay. So and what's interesting, I just met somebody through like a business group that I was doing, and I love her. Her handle on Instagram is dementia underscore
Mhm.
careblazers. And
Mhm.
she helps families who are caretakers of people with dementia. And my goodness, she is amazing. I'm going to have her on the
Mhm.
show, but it's now starting to make sense to me a little bit because what I was telling her is that I think it's so fascinating how much similarities there are between when you're caring for someone that's older,
Mhm.
maybe in the last 2 decades of their life,
Mhm.
and you're raising children in the first 2 decades of their life. So much of it
Mhm.
is the same concepts when you're bringing in like dignity and respect and
Mhm.
compassion and firm kindness and boundaries. And like what you were just
Mhm.
saying, like explaining the why, right? Like
Yep.
a 90-year-old is very similar to a 13-year-old. Like if you
I
just
think
tell them, get in the shower now, they don't cooperate as well as if you're like, hey, let me explain to you what's going to happen,
mhm.
right? Like, does that carry through in your nursing field a little bit?
It carries over through everything. It's not just your
Mm,
nursing field. That's anybody that you talk to, your partner. I I I
true.
tell people what I do on TikTok. While you saw the one aspect, that's me as a parent. I also have another group. And our thing is to make better humans. Like, you cannot tell me that you want better human relationships if you then do not want to change how you relate to other humans.
Heck yeah.
Does
Yeah.
saying so if I want to change the dynamic between me and my son, I have to do some radical self-analysis. I have to give grace and empathy. I have to give understanding. I have to give comprehension. I cannot hold you to a standard of understanding if I'm the person that's supposed to teach you and I figure you're just supposed to know. I can't explain it to a way that goes over your head. I need you to retain it and understand it. So it's really just human relations. And one thing my grandfather taught me, God rest his soul, he said getting a broader education shouldn't shorten the amount or limit the amount of people you could talk to. It should expand it. I, as a nurse who have had this advanced education, should be able to talk to anybody and explain any concept to them in a way that they understand it. So the same way I can take this grand concept and explain it to somebody who has a doctorate degree, I should be able to do it to somebody who's in kindergarten. I think when we look at perception, and that's what tweaked for me is changing perceptions of my child and really thought about it. That's what made me decide that we need to course correct what we're doing, and it opened up so many doors. Made it. You absolutely have to have boundaries, standards, expectations. That's how life works. But you make it age appropriate, and you don't wait till they're super grown to teach it. We've been going this route since he was old enough to comprehend. And trust me, he's a very smart child. He's been comprehended quite some time.
Yeah.
Kids say the darndest thing is a whole thing. I found it funny that some of the outcries and the most of it's been positive, but would be like, I would never let my son call me a liar. I would never tell my son, or my son could never make a video and tell me what to do. And I'm like, well, have you ever seen a show called Kids Say the Darndest Things? I said, kids' humor is the funniest humor. Like when kids come back at you and use that simple child logic on you, it is the best
Yeah.
thing. The course correction comes in that I don't see my child as an extension of me, as someone, okay, I want you to tell me a time as an adult where somebody can come up to you and say, I have to give you something extremely valuable, and you don't have a choice but to take it. And because I did that, now you owe me everything.
Mm,
I
yeah.
want you to tell me how that works. Because for me, my child didn't ask to be here. It was
Yeah.
my decision and mine alone. And I owe him everything I can until he's no longer in my stewardship. And with that stewardship comes a certain amount of authority, but that doesn't mean I have to be authoritative. Because I remember being a
Amen.
kid I remember being a kid and like they never listen to me and they never see me and they never hear me. And then parents go, well, why don't they talk to me? Well, they don't feel safe talking to you because you don't even see them as a whole human being. Holistic care is across the board. I don't care in what relationship you're talking about, parent, family, if you're talking about your romantic relationships, it's holistic care. So it does cross over because it's just basic humanity. That's all you're doing.
Yes. Oh, man, you are brilliant, Nicole. And it's just so effective. And yeah, it's
Mhm.
like, it's so funny that sounds like some people commented like, "Oh, I wouldn't let my kid challenge me," but his challenge back to you was the heart melter part. Families, it is time for our free New Year Kickstart Challenge where I will help you fresh start your family in 5 days with a totally free positive parenting mini course designed to educate, inspire, and empower. So, are you ready for a fresh start? We begin on Monday, January 27th. So, now is the time to get registered. This completely free 5 day mini course will teach you the root causes of misbehavior so you can redirect your kids towards better behavior and do it in a way where you use compassion, dignity, connection, empathy, and firm, kind limits. So you feel proud and confident at the end of the day about the way you parented when you lay your head on your pillow. This is an easy and fun way to learn live with me for free. And once you register, I'll immediately send you a prep kit with everything you need to know, and you'll be all set to receive your daily, short, and easy to finish mini positive parenting video lessons delivered right to your email inbox daily for 5 days. These lessons are not overwhelming families, but instead short, punchy, and powerful. And you don't even need to attend anything live. At the end of the week, after completing this free Kickstart program, you'll walk away feeling confident, joyful, creative, empowered, and assured that this new year ahead is going to be the best year of your life as a parent. I am so excited to get to know so many of you as we hang out together through this powerful week of learning. Plus, this free challenge comes with a private community that's not housed on social media, where you'll meet like-minded families from around the globe, and you'll get access to daily live coaching and Q&A sessions with me to help you fully implement what you learn inside of the challenge mini lessons. All around, it's going to be the best way to kick off the new year as the strong, empowered, and confident parent you want to be. Save your seat at freshstartfamilyonline.com/kickstart, or just shoot me a DM over on Instagram with the word kickstart. I'm at Fresh Start Wendy.
He is hysterical. Like, why can you not have a sense of humor about who are you that you can't be called on your things and your child be the one, your kids will be the one to hurt your feelings more than anybody else on the planet. You will be like, listen, my son told me that he wanted me to cook for him one day because I had the auntie with the good potato salad arms, which basically means you have like a really fat arm, and then he jiggled the fat. And he was trying to give me a compliment, but now I was sitting up like, oh my goodness, I went into a pressure fire because it's funny. It's
Yeah.
realistic simplicity. If you are a human being that has thoughts, feelings, dreams, desires, emotions, why do you then think that it doesn't count for your children? That doesn't make sense. And if you don't know how to wrangle them in, then you're not going to be able to teach them. So when my son came up with the concept, he said, I got a video to do too. And I said, well, go ahead and do it. And he did the video. And I said, this is bloody genius. Like, are you serious? Because everything he said in the video is absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Yes.
I do. First day of school, I'm like, good morning. Getting him out of bed and he's going. Um, um, I do try to he's playing his game right now. And so I'll go in there like say, don't do such and such, and he'll be like, I can't pause the game. And I'll
Yes.
go, I don't care about you not being able to pause the game. It ain't something, you know what I'm saying? So it's real facts. What is he doing? My biggest question would be to parents when they say things like, my child couldn't talk to me like that. And I say, well, why are you displaying a behavior that your child can't mirror back? Like, why would
Exactly.
you talk to your child in a way that you can't they can't mirror it. Anything I do to my son, he absolutely should be able to mirror back to me. Because
Amen. Yes.
again, I'm leading by example. So I don't understand it. So if I could poke fun at the things he does, why can't he poke fun at the things I do? Because you don't see him as a
Yes.
human. That's right.
Dang straight. Yeah. Well, what's so brilliant, Nicole, is that this
Mm-hmm.
reel is a funny example of saying what you don't want, right? And your son is just again like hilarious and came back with the most beautiful, whatever that's called when you like rebuttal, right? But really,
Yes.
you can tell by the way you parent and the way you live your life and the way you lead your family
Mm-hmm.
is that you're also setting the clear expectations. You're asking for what you want, right? So,
Yeah.
would you say it's a pattern for you that, yes, sometimes you might make it funny, like you did in this reel,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like all the
Mm-hmm.
different things that you pointed out, but you're also taking the time to then clearly ask for what you want. So, right now,
Absolutely.
in the moment when you were like, hey, I need you to be quiet, instead of opening the door and being like, stop talking, stop screaming, you were like, hey, I need you to be quiet for the next half hour until I
I'm
finish this
done.
interview. And you're very firm about it, right? You could tell you're very firm and
Mm-hmm.
clear about your boundaries. So, would you say that that's become part of your rhythm that has
That's
helped you find
everything.
success? Yeah.
Listen, that's everything. And then, okay, boys will act as if they don't understand or is I equivalent boys to Drax. If you've ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax is so literal. So
Oh,
literal.
yes.
Like he
Yes.
doesn't
You're
read in
right.
between a line, he doesn't read context. He's so literal. And I think that's how you have to be when you explain things to kids. He understands I need him to be quiet. And he's in his mode. And he may
Yeah.
not understand like how important it is. So I'll go back. Because this was I said, dude, can you do me a favor? Right. And then I came back and I said, I need you to stop. for the next 45 minutes. I give you a time frame. I say, I don't need it forever. And he's receptive to it, but I'm not going to say it in a way to him that's unclear,
Yeah.
where you don't understand it. And I'm not going to say it because, you know, we all have that mother tongue. You know, that mother tone.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
we may say something off the cuff and then 1 second we'll go, I said do this. The
Right.
authoritative tone. I said this is what I said. I said what I said because I think people see in my son and they think we don't beef. We're kids. We're two. We have fun and we like each other,
Yeah.
but we're two people with personalities. So we absolutely butt heads. He's 13. He's gonna try
Yeah.
to rebel a little bit. He's gonna try to do that. He might not have been realize what he's doing. So we have grace. So I said, listen, I need this, and he says, okay. But I'm respecting him while I'm doing it. My clear communication is respecting him. You have respect when you are a person of authority and you have respect for the people who you have authority over, you get so much further. You get so much
Yes.
further. Like you get so much.
Dang, that is a mic drop right there. That is so true. When you have true respect for the people that you have authority over, you get
You
so
get
much
further.
farther. Yes, it's
The
so, so
beats
true.
have decreased so much. And I think from a child who tried, from parent who initially started one way, and I'm a total 360, like I've circled the entire block as to the type of parent I am now. Um,
Really?
the, oh yeah,
Me too.
because I started out as an authoritative, dominant.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
um, I will say that parts of me that felt bad about when I allowed this to be the thing, the single mother thing. Like you're not gonna say I raised you wrong, and the world's not gonna think you're this and that, and it did so much. And then one day, my son, he was panicking because he got a B on a test, and I'm like, that's a great
Mm.
grade. What do you mean? And he's like, no, I should have got an A. And I said, you think I expect you to be perfect? And he said, yes,
Mm.
I do. It changed everything. It
Because you
changed
expect
everything.
yourself, right? Did you check
But
yourself? Oh, yeah.
because I was projecting onto him certain things, and now he's going to get certain things. But
Well, that
but
projection thing is so real, right? Like we don't
projection
quite
is absolutely
realize.
a project. People, okay. One of the biggest arguments parents have is intention versus, and we all know how the argument of intent versus impact go. I didn't intend for it to be that way, so don't take it the way I intended it. However, it's your job to deliver it the way you intend for it to be to impact the person. So if you're gonna argue like they should just know I did the best I could. Yes, I understand, but could there have been a better way? And we as parents have to start, it starts with the parent. I do not care whatever my son turns out to be, whatever I and his father raised him to be. It's how we set the example, how we set the bar, how we did whatever we had to do. And intention versus impact is a dangerous thing because people will try to make you believe that your impact should mean more than, or your intention should mean more than your impact. When no, it is absolutely true that two things can be true at the same time, that I intended to do right by you and did harm at the same time. Absolutely. So you
Yeah.
have to check yourself. You have to check yourself. These are tiny human beings. They're not, they're tiny human beings who we have to teach how to be big human beings. That's what I'm doing. I'm not raising him to be a perpetual child, raising him to be an adult. So
Yeah.
I have to teach him the lesson, and I have to show him better than I can tell him. Parents, show them better than you can tell them. Show beats tell every day of the week. Realistic simplicity. Like, I may want you to be a basketball player, but you love academia. So then why not cheer just as loud as you would at a basketball game as you would at a spelling bee? Because that's who you are. That's what you are. It's not my projection onto you of what I want you to be. It's me being supportive of the individual you are. But these are real conversations. Sometimes it's hard for us. We love our kids. We want to do right by them.
Oh, you are so brilliant. I adore you.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
that it's all so true, right? And that idea of like intention versus impact. We teach like
Mm,
a weekend life coaching course where we talk a lot about that and how the impact is you can measure, right? Like we all have these goals. We have these goals of who we want to be as parents and how we want to teach these important life lessons and the kind of,
mm,
human souls that we want to nurture and help mold
mm,
to put out in the world. And your impact is one way to measure, right? Like, what is it really working, right? Like I just hosted before we did this call, a discipline workshop with, gosh, we had 1,500 families registered just to
Oh
show up
God.
to learn how to
Oh,
compassionately discipline.
don't even get me started on the discipline aspect of parenting. That is the part
Yeah.
that's a 0 out of 10. The disciplinary part of is a 0 out of
Workshop, girl. Just come to my
no.
workshop.
Oh no, I have discipline. Don't worry. We have the discipline on, like
Yeah.
I'm saying, the experience of it. Like, no, but that's the downside. That's not the fun side of parenting. The fun side of
Yeah.
parenting is being on the Today Show with your kid because you're awesome. That's the fun side. The
It's true.
downside is when they don't follow the rules and you have to do the disciplinary part and you don't want to, because everybody can be the fun parent. The fun parent is fun,
Yeah.
but you have to balance it with that. Um, Parenting is like laundry detergent. Okay. I had a friend
Mm.
tell me this one too. Parenting is like laundry detergent. Some people are a game person, a Tide person. Some people are a Purex person. Some people will spend a lot of money and they will look into it and choose whatever. But at the end of the day, the clothes get washed. That's
Yes.
parenting in a nutshell. The clothes get washed. No matter how you choose to wash them or what you choose to use to wash them, the clothes get washed. Now, some people's clothes may not get as clean as other people's clothes, but the clothes get clean. Clothes get washed. And that's parenting in a
Mm.
nutshell. It is the biggest mind gymnast that you're ever going to have. You get one shot with each of the tiny humans that you're in. And because if we even talked about discipline, my whole discipline regime changed one day. The type
Mm.
of parent I was changed from a
Nice.
reaction I got from my kid. Because again, how do you see me, sir? How do you see me, kid? Would you say that I was an understanding, compassionate, caring person that showed respect? Or would society say that if you would see me a totally different? I parent how my child sees me, how my
Yes.
child sees me, with the goals that I have for my child in mind. How do I teach the goals so that he said, I learned this in a compassionate way? Like, how did I learn that? And it's okay to have respect and compassion for your children. It's okay for that, you know?
Yeah. And what you're talking about too is humility, right? When we're talking about
Mm-hmm,
measuring like what are we reaching our goals by
mm-hmm,
our impact, and having the humility to look, and the respect to look to your child and see like, how are they responding to my discipline? Are they
mm-hmm,
scared of me, or are they really learning the life lesson here? And to have the humility, like I just saw so many parents do in this workshop, say, you know what, my impact is not actually not where I want it to be. I want to
right,
learn some new ways to teach instead of
mm-hmm,
punish. And it's just one of my favorite traits in a human being is
mm-hmm,
the ability to be humble, because it's so strong, right? Like it's so much
mm-hmm.
easier, in my opinion, to be cocky and defensive.
The trust
And
and respect is the trust and respect you'll have for a longer period of time than you will the fear. Trust and respect you'll have longer than the fear because that's where they feel the safest. Um, I
true.
used to be a physical discipline parent,
Yeah, me
fear the
too.
right spoil the child. I used to. And
Yep.
then one day, the same hands that I want to hold my schnookum dookum, they flinched. And I went, why did you do that? He said, well, I thought you were going to give me a spanking. And I said, well, what did you think I was going to do that for? But the fact that
Why
I
would you
took,
think that?
why would you think that? Maybe because I think parents go about teaching a lesson. They go by what they know. They go by what's easiest
Yeah.
sometimes. And I'm not
Habit.
hating or talking about anybody for that. But the other day we had this conversation, and my son, I said, let me ask you a question. When do you learn the lesson better? He said, I learn better when you take it away from me. Take things away from me and you talk to me. He said, I
Mm,
never want
explain
you to be
why.
disappointed in me. He said, when you're disappointed in me, that's what hurts the most. So if this method of me parenting isn't teaching the lesson, then you can't tell me that it's the most effective way of teaching a lesson, because then I'm going to look at it a totally different way. If I'm doing this and you're still continuing the behavior, then you haven't learned the lesson. And now I have to understand, why am I still using this form of this order to, or this form of correction, if it's not effective? Well, it's the simplest way. Well, maybe no, because if the lesson isn't learned, then what is it for? The purpose of discipline The purpose of punishment is to teach the consequences for the action the person of discipline is or the habit. And sometimes we just do what we know because we don't know what else to do. And that's
Yeah.
no shade. It's all about course correction. Like, okay, this isn't working. Let me try this. And try stepping out of your box. When I learned to be humble and bring my humanity into my parenting for me and for my child, I became a better person, which then made me a better mother, which then made a better. And that's all that is.
So true. It is so helpful, right? Again, when you bring in that humility piece and what we call here holding space muscles and like listening intently, and instead
Oh, I
of
like that.
thinking, right? So, like, I
Hmm.
remember asking my daughter, so we live in Southern California. It's like, I swear, the e-bike capital of the world. Like, these kids got e-bikes. It's mini motorcycles. It's scary, but at the same time, they have freedom and it's wonderful. They can get themselves to sports practice and school, and it is nice. They learn this independence from young, right? To like take care of yourself.
Yeah,
But it is also very scary because there's obviously big roads, and there's some scary stuff that happens with kids on the road and blah blah blah. So, but one day I was talking to my daughter in the car, and it drives me nuts how many kids. I always say, like, man, I'm not trying to blame the parents, but where are the parents? Like, the helmets aren't buckled. So sometimes the helmets aren't on. Sometimes there'll be
mm,
three kids on these bikes. I mean, I see just all the time. There's so many kids who are just blatantly like not observing the road rules. And
hmm,
whether it's my little block and it's or a big 4-lane like street, but the consequences are death, right?
yeah.
And I'm just like, we got to be firmer here. But I asked Stella one day, I said, so what do you think? Why do you think is the reason why you are able to adhere to the family, like the strong family boundary of like, in order to ride this e-bike, like that helmet's got to be buckled at all
Right.
times. And the jaywalking is never an option, like, and, or whatever it's called. Like if you go when the light is not, you're not supposed to go, right? Like we see the kids
Hmm.
do it all the time. And she said, yeah, and I said, really think about it. Like, what do you think is the difference? Like, why do you think some other kids are not adhering to the boundaries? And she said, Mom, I think it's because you just really teach us the why. Like you teach us why the rule is so important instead of just stop it or else you'll get your bike taken away.
Right.
Or you'll get your, like the big thing around here with these 15-year-olds is you'll get your iPhone the iPhone, and the e-bike is what gets taken away. And
Mm.
granted, taking a break from an e-bike can absolutely be connected to the life skill of learning how to ride it safely. But it was interesting to hear her perspective of this is what has helped me respect the rule and boundary. And
Hmm.
it's just nice if you can find the humility to turn it on the anytime to just ask a kid, like, why do you think you're struggling to not be able to do this? Like what
The,
are you missing that I can teach you or help you learn? What life skill, like what's going on for you? We just
I
gained
think
so much
it's
info.
I think it's the humility to be able to understand that the perspective of your child is important in your parenting. I think it's the humility to understand you don't have it all together. I
Yeah.
think it's the humility to laugh at the little irritations and aggravations. I think it's okay to enjoy parenting and speak up when parenting is being kind of, D-baggish. It's a
Yeah.
you you know the why. If I'm supposed to teach you how you move in the world and why the world moves this way, why wouldn't I explain to you? A lot of people say kids shouldn't be able to question adults, and I say, well, why not?
Right.
You don't want your child to ask you why? Why wouldn't you want that? You're the one that's supposed to explain it to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we say, oh, well, they're not ready for it. I don't think it's that they're not ready for it. You can make anything age appropriate. If it's lack of communication skills, which a lot of us have, and that's not the thing. I didn't know how to communicate till I tried to learn how to communicate better.
Yeah.
So lack of communication skills, humility, again, empathy. Empathy is a big thing. Empathy is a big thing. People think empathy is an emotion. Empathy is a skill. It's a
Yes.
muscle. You have to work the muscle. It's the ability to be able to recognize and express the emotions of another person. And a lot of times you can do that cognitively or you can do that emotionally. But to be able to do it is a skill. So flex that muscle, like that space muscle you talk about, flex that. Um, when kids feel respected, they generally tend to respect you better. And I mean in a healthy way. Like, make no mistake about it, my son absolutely knows who the authority figure is. He will
Yeah.
tell you, my mother is not to be played with, and I'm not.
Yes.
However, comma, that doesn't mean I have to treat you like a peon or be have a hammer down on you, or I can't remember you're a human being or you don't deserve respect. Because how do I teach you self-respect? How do I teach you about how to give and receive respect if I'm not doing the same? It's a balancing act. And again, you just course correct as you go. Parents, if you are trying to be the best parent you can be, you are doing a fabulous job. It
Yeah.
would be it would be great for you to just sit back and say, let me evaluate some things, especially if you feel like you're pulling teeth at some point. Not saying that the weeds don't grow in the garden. Parenthood is a beautiful garden, but you got to battle them weeds and rodents too. There's not just the flowers that bloom. You got to deal with that too. Um, so when we make a video and say, you know what, I'm not dealing with this, and it's okay. Parents don't sacrifice everything. Remember, you have to be a holistic human in order to be a holistic. So remember, take time for yourself. Have some me time. It is okay to tell the children no. It's okay to you
Yeah.
teach them about boundaries by you getting boundaries. But make sure it's realistic and age appropriate.
Oh,
And
I love it.
just understand and just have fun. Like, just have fun.
Yes. And we're going to go through these real quick just because this is
Mhm.
how I found you. So we're
Okay.
going to take this video and we're going to go through it real quick. What is the life skill that we're teaching our kid, right? So
Okay.
this ain't that, changing up our stomach energy. So you go on about like, oh, hell no. Like you're not going to act like you got a stomach ache now when all
Okay.
summer you've been eating this stuff. So what is
Listen,
what is the life skill we are teaching these kids in
we
that
are
moment?
teaching what we're teaching is that despite the fact that you have a stomach ache for whatever reason, you need to properly communicate what's going on because there must be an underlying reason. And sometimes you just got to
Nice.
push through because a lot of people say, well, what if they have anxiety? Okay, if they have anxiety, we have tools to help anxiety. You're going to have to live out in the world and you're going to have to learn
Bingo.
how to manage these things. So I get it, and I want you to know that I'm not as simple as you think I am. You ate that disgusting diet all summer. You've been lying around, and now all of a sudden your stomach hurt every day. Well, let's go to the doctor and get it looked at. And now we're about to
Yeah.
go to this schoolhouse because my son, when he was in the second grade, used to tell them he would vomit because they knew he would get sent home. And
Oh,
so then
yes.
one day I said, tell him to show you the vomit. And when he couldn't, he never did it again. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
kids fake stomach aches. It's true. It can be anxiety, but also kids fake stomach aches. So you're teaching them communicate what it is that's going on with you, so that we can get to the crux of the problem. And even if it is anxiety or something medically, we can get it looked at so we can move along. But sometimes you got to do it. You got to push through. Sometimes you got to push through.
Heck
Sometimes
yeah.
you got to push
Okay.
through.
I love it. That's a good one. All right. Second one. This ain't that. We ain't going to act like we can't wake up after
Oh,
getting out 77 all
you've
summer.
been getting up before our Lord and Savior every day asking me what's for breakfast. But
Yes.
now all of a sudden, I need a semi truck to run you over, to wake you up in the morning. No, you know how to get up. We've been on this bed regime a long time. So waking up on time is absolutely pertinent in order for you to manage your day. Time management is what you're teaching them. And
Heck yeah.
quit playing with me is what you're teaching them because
Yes.
my hard boundary is that we're going to get where we have to go. The rule in
Yeah.
my house is we do what we need or have to do before we do what we want to do. Get up, go to school.
Yes. We call that sequencing. It's
Yes.
fantastic. Yes. And,
Mm-hmm.
listeners, you can feel like as we're going through some of these just for fun, you can feel like there is asking for what you want, but there is a firm teaching and boundary going on in order to
Mm-hmm.
be successful with this work, right? Like, which is essentially the middle ground between too firm, which is those autocratic styles we all grew up with, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fear and force, and too soft, which is permissive, do what you want. I'll give you chicken nuggets
Right.
every night and drive you to school late. Is that middle road between too kind, too firm, which is
Oh,
firm and kind, and it needs so much firmness, like,
let me
and
clear
the
this up.
respect part.
I did not feed the child hot chips and chicken nuggets for every meal all summer long because I got flack for that. Like, you're giving it to him. Okay, so he
Oh
had
my
chicken nugget.
gosh.
What we're saying is that you ate food that was disgusting all summer and now your stomach hurts. They're flack for that. But you have to find a balance. You cannot be too hard and you cannot be too soft. You have
Yeah.
to find the middle ground. You have to.
Well, it's
Because
just
the
so,
world
yes.
doesn't work that way. It doesn't
Yes.
work that way in the world. Are you raising a perpetual child? No, you're
And
raising adults.
here's another life skill to teach in that moment is how to take care of your body. So if you are having stomach aches, then let's look at what you're putting into it. Because again, 13 and 16-year-old almost, this is literally everything you have listed is exact. Like,
Exactly what they do. This one
okay,
right
here's
here is
one.
the okay.
This ain't that. We're going to not prepare our clothes and our items for the next day, the day before. Okay, again,
Proper
literally
preparedness
Sunday
prevents
night.
poor performance. Why are we rushing out the door to get you to the bus when you could have simply just gotten your items ready? We could have had an easy morning. Listen, if you want to take the extra 10 minutes to sleep a little bit longer, you can because you prepared the items. It's just about being prepared. I don't know why people act like being prepared is such a bad thing, but these kids, they don't want to prepare anything the night before. They don't care. And the tiny humans are trying to take us out, and I won't let you.
Well, you know what's sucky is, man, Terry was just talking to Taryn about this one yesterday, and I loved the way you phrased it as like, first we're going to do this, then we're going to do that, or however you said it. We got to do the must do before the want tos, I think is how you said it. And he was talking about like, essentially teaching Taryn, like, before you do anything else, because he leaves early for school because of sports
Mm-hmm.
thing he gets to do, I want you to do your homework and then do something else.
Right.
And I was challenging a little bit because I was like secretly beating myself up because I am such a procrastinator, right? So it's like being able to look at that is so part of this mix, right? Yes, we're teaching the life skills of don't
Yep.
wait to the last minute, which my kids are fantastic at. Sunday night, they will fight over the washer and then beg me to change their
Right.
clothes at 10 p.m. And I'm like, hell no. But
No.
but to look
Why
at
didn't
where
you
we
do this
modeled
Saturday
it.
and Sunday? Do what you have to do before you do
Yes.
what you want to do. Listen, you cannot get those clothes prepared if you want to. I'm not, your problem is not my emergency. Your poor planning is not my emergency.
Yes.
So you have to teach them that. By the time my son is in the eighth grade, we've been doing this school thing for quite some time at this point.
Yeah.
There absolutely should be things by now that are under your control that you need to take because again, I'm
So
not
true.
teaching you to be the child every day. Now I will say this. We do have days where we go, you know what? I call those the grace days where we give ourselves
Yeah.
because sometimes you're going, and you just don't have it in you. So I do that for him. When he needs to take a mental health day, I give it to him.
Heck yeah.
Grace days. You do those type of things to create balance. Because again, you can't be all of one way. You can't be the same horse of another color. But the not
Yeah.
preparing your things for school is because I don't want a headache in the morning. It's just teaching you preparedness. It's teaching you proper planning, time management. It teaches you all of those things, which is what you need.
Exactly. And we got to be
And
willing
I'm
to look
not your
at
maid.
where, yeah,
I'm not doing that. Get ready. What do you mean?
love it. And we got to be able to look at where we're modeling it and
Correct.
also look at if we're like exuding that perfectionist thing, right? I'm just talking to
Correct.
myself right now because
No, no.
I
True.
had a big
True.
project that I procrastinated on and my impact, right? Like my intention versus impact. The project, the execution wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. And I full
Mhm.
blown know it's because I procrastinated. Right. And so
It's
I'm
because you're
just sitting in
passionate.
that today, knowing that in order
You're
to
fine.
fully teach my child how to like have that life skill of doing things ahead of time, I am knee deep in the learning right now at 46 years old. I'm like, oh my
Listen,
gosh. But hey, we're all a work in
you're
progress.
never too old to learn, and no one's ever
Yeah.
too young to teach you. I learn from my son every
Yeah.
day. My son teaches me something every day. And listen, sometimes it's hard. That procrastination, sometimes it be that when we're so used to working in chaos, it feels like comfort to work under that chaos. So you give yourself
Yes.
grace. You give yourself grace. And that's the biggest lesson. Give yourself some grace. Parents
True.
and
Oh,
children, give yourself
so good. Well, I wish we could go through all of these, but honestly, parents, you get the vibe. Like what we're doing was we were
stop
taking
losing
Nicole's,
everything.
yes,
Stop
her
losing
funny
everything.
video.
Stop losing everything. I've paid a lot of money. It's about caring about what you care about. Do not
Yes.
ask for something and then tell me you don't want it. Like I've provided what you said you wanted and now you don't want it. So then I don't want to hear anything. So don't come home talking about I'm starving. because you didn't eat the lunch that you told me was okay. When I asked for your input, I said, is this okay? I gave you, and that also teaches them to talk when they're supposed to talk. I gave you ample space to express yourself. You told me you liked it, and now all of a sudden the lunch is trash. Well, if you didn't eat the lunch, I don't want to care how starving you are when you get home because you should have eaten the
Detachment.
lunch. Right.
Yeah, you got to detach from it. It's not
Got
your
to.
problem, right? Like
Yeah.
instead of clamping and sinking in our teeth to the argument and the, like the back and forth power struggle, like sometimes you just got to detach. My daughter right now is like, so like she was never a picky eater. And all of a sudden at almost 16, she'll ask me for all these
Right.
things. And then like 6 days into it, sitting in the fridge, I'm like, remember, here's the thing you asked for, and she's like, oh, I don't really
I
like
don't
that
want
anymore.
it.
I'm like, we ain't doing that. This ain't that. I'm
This
like,
ain't
gonna
that. You
channel
gotta
you.
eat that. When he says I can't eat that, oh yes you can because you asked for it. I told them that about the sports edition. They change your stomach energy up with everything. I promise you. This ain't that will always start with stomach energy changes. I promise you. It'll always happen.
Oh my gosh, Nicole, you make me laugh and giggle and just, I love your just lightheartedness, right? Like we gotta laugh
Mhm.
together. Parenthood is intense. It is,
You don't
I
have to
think,
shame each other. You don't have to shame
yeah,
other parents. Again, it's like laundry detergent. Okay, you like Gain. I like Tide. The
yeah,
clothes get washed. That's what is important. The
yes,
clothes get clean. And so I don't subscribe to parent shaming. I believe that there's always
heck
something
no.
that we can do better. And if we have the humility and the open mindedness in order to find those methods, because at the end of the day, we do owe our children. They don't owe us, we owe them.
Mm,
And I'm going to wholeheartedly stand on that. And if we've done our job, then they'll be able to move out there on their own and be okay with little minimal worry for us because you'll never stop worrying about your children. But also then they'll want to continue the relationship on and off. When
yeah,
they don't have to, then they want to. And that's the goal. My son is going to be a better me. He's going to be a better person than I am because I'm going to put it into play and we're almost there. I enjoy being a parent. I like them. And when this ride is over, I'm going to be happy, but I'm
yeah.
going to be sad too. But at one point, he will no longer be in my stewardship. It will be all up on him. So I'm going to do everything I can. But I guarantee you, mine won't go anywhere. Listen, that's my buddy. And they say that's my buddy. I said, no, no, he's not my buddy yet, but he will be because there'll come a time
Yeah.
where I can be that person for him, but I can be the best friend to him I can be by doing my job as being his mother because it was
Heck
a
yeah.
blessing.
Oh, Nicole, we adore you. Thank you for your wisdom. You are incredibly gifted. And so I want all y'all listeners to go find Nicole. Will you tell everyone where they can come find you, come give you some love? And then if Kai does want to say hi, he can hop on and say hi to the listeners. But I also want you to tell everybody, not there. Yeah, don't even
He's
worry.
knee deep.
Um,
He's knee deep in the game at this point. We don't. He's
yeah,
not. He has no need for physical human contact at this point. He's into the matrix.
with the Matrix. But tell everyone where they can find you, Nicole, because I want everyone to
You
come give you a follow and give you some love on your
absolutely.
incredible stuff that you create.
You can follow me on TikTok at Thick Nick Jack, ThickNicJack. You can also follow me on Instagram under Thick Nick, and you can follow me on Facebook under Nicole Jack. That's where you can find me.
I love it. And we're going to put all of those in both the show notes and the iTunes little blurb that you can click on right as you're listening to this episode. Nicole, thank you for taking time out of your day to talk with
No
us. You have
problem.
been so much fun to be together with, and I hope you have the best day. Please tell Kai that we say hello and that he's
I
awesome
will.
too.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. Thank you so much. You all have a blessed and wonderful day. Have a good day on purpose.
Hooray! You made it to the end of a Fresh Start Family Show episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you have a quick second, make sure you hit subscribe to our show so you can be updated when our new episodes drop. I will see you back soon for the next episode. Don't forget to go save your seat now for our free 5-day challenge that starts on Monday, January 27th. In addition to the free daily lessons that you'll get when you register for the New Year Kickstart Challenge, you'll also get access to the private community via a non-social media based app and I'll be answering questions and providing individualized coaching every day of the challenge. After you register, I'll send you a prep kit to get you all set up to get started. And just remember, you do not have to attend anything live to take part in this challenge. Lessons are short and are able to be watched on demand. So it will work to get this Kickstart program done no matter how busy you are as a parent. Save your seat now at freshstartfamilyonline.com/kickstart or just DM me the word Kickstart on Instagram. You can find me at FreshStartWendy and I'll personally DM you a link to learn more and save your seat. I'll see you there.